Dr. Sebi was born Alfredo Bowman in a village in Spanish Honduras. He never had any formal schooling. He was self-educated. After coming to the United States, he was diagnosed with asthma, diabetes, impotency, and obesity. After unsuccessful treatments with conventional doctors and traditional Western medicine, Sebi was led to an herbalist in Mexico.
So he told me that I could not eat meat any longer, nor lamb. I could not drink any milk. And I abstained from all these things, and here I am now at 82. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life.
After being healed from his conditions, he began studying and cataloging herbs around the world. As a result, he created natural vegetation cell food compounds that he claimed would cure people from diseases like herpes and AIDS.
The first patient was a brother in Boston named Michael White. He said, well, I must send him the compound. I removed from the man's diet lactose, uric acid, and carbonic acid, milk, starches, and meat. By removing these things from his diet and then cleansing his cells, he began to see recovery in 24 hours. When I told my mama that I had cured my 13 AIDS patient, she said, they're gonna get you.
In the 1980s, Dr. Sebi ran a variety of ads stating that his institute cured AIDS, sickle cell, lupus, blindness, herpes, cancer, and other incurable diseases. The ad caught the eye of the Food and Drug Administration, and they sued Dr. Sebi for false advertisement and practicing without a license.
You defended yourself. Of course I did. I knew that I had sufficient evidence to prove my position.
During the trial, the judge requested Dr. Sebi provide one witness for each disease that he claimed he cured. Each witness had to bring documentation that showed they had a disease from one doctor and documentation that they no longer had the disease from a separate doctor. Dr. Sebi was able to provide over 70 witnesses. He was not taken to court to prove he cured AIDS, but many say he still did so within this trial because his witnesses presented verified medical documents proving they had been healed after they said they sought Sebi's help. After hours of questioning and testing Dr. Sebi's compounds, he was found not guilty because his products were essentially food and he was not diagnosing patients. Dr. Sebi took on the Attorney General and won.
Not only did I prove scientifically, but I had these diagnostic sheets, and I do have them today. And I do diagnostic sheet didn't come from me. They came from their school, their American accredited, medical accredited school.
When you look at the court documents, it says Dr. Sebi, Alfredo Bowman, which is my father, my aunt Bowman, and Fig Tree Products. That's what was proven in court. You know what I mean? That's what won court. They sent that to Lancaster Laboratories, and it was proven as electric cell food. That's why if you look at the Fig Tree, we call it electric cell food. That's what's been proven in court.
Man known as Dr. Sebi claims to have found the cure for several life-threatening diseases, including AIDS. Too good to be true? Well, you be the judge. The lump in Myrtle Rick's left breast is gone.
I haven't had any symptoms or problems or anything.
Sabrina Peterson's son no longer disabled by sickle cell anemia.
There's a lot of energy. I have to make him rest.
Disease is cured by this man. His name is Dr. Sebi, but you won't find a medical degree hanging from his wall. Instead, a certificate of healing.
How did Dr. Sebi say he was healing people of these incurable diseases? The basis behind his approach is cleaning the body of excess mucus, which is believed to be the root of all disease. Sebi stated, "Our research reveals that all manifestation of disease finds its genesis when mucous membrane has been compromised. For example, if there is excess mucus in the bronchial tubes, the disease is bronchitis. In the joints, arthritis." Basically, he believed disease will arise in the body when there is an overaccumulation of this stagnant toxin. He said acid creates toxic mucus and congests the system, leading to inflammation. Sebi preached an alkaline diet will do the opposite and support vitality.
My approach is an intracellular cleansing. You have people eating hog, potatoes, rice, and beans. But if we take this substance to a biochemist, he's not going to find any food in any of these substances.
If something is of usefulness in my structure, in my biological structure, it must necessarily be electrical. And the only substance that is electrical are those substances that come from the forest we call the jungle. Because the molecular structure is complete, it's not broken.
How I found out that black people should be vegetarian, because when I begin to remove you from that meat and that stuff, that grease, you begin to say in 1 week of the pain that you had for years begin to disappear.
His family claims for 30 years he reversed a range of incurable ailments using his compounds and his nutritional approach. He also claimed to cure blindness. He shared this story during one of his speeches.
Young man, I said, yes, sir. I heard that you've been experimenting with herbs. I said, yes. Well, I'm blind. I'm blind for 11 years. Could you help me? I shall try. If you make me see, I give you $1 million. I gave the man the substance. When am I going to see? I said, by Friday. Now, why did I select Friday until this day? I don't know. But I was so sure of myself. But how could a boy that didn't go to school be so sure of himself? The man went home with the medicine. And the Wednesday, good morning, young man. I raised my right hand. You say you raise your right hand. I wink my left eye. You say you wink your left eye. I said, the man is seeing. At that point of my journey, I couldn't explain that. I know it's a bunch of herbs that cleanse the man's body, but they were all alkali plants.
He also said he was able to heal people of mental illness, something he himself struggled with.
I became very sick. I was angry. I want to blow my brains out. I want to kill my wife. And she was the sweetest woman in the world. Why I want to kill her? Because I was sick. You could be offering and deploying things that are hurtful to others and you're totally unaware. I was in what you call a psychiatric ward, schizophrenic and paranoia. Later to walk out of it, to heal that. Every disease begins right here. I mean, right here. I don't care if you're blind or if you're insane. It's right here. That acid state influences the brain and the central nervous system. It changes the image in your eyes. You do not see with your eyes. Your eyes is only the lens that the brain looks through. And what the brain sees is what you're going to see. I had a lady from Mexico, and that lady would say, no, don't let them take me. No. And there was nobody there. I made an extract from the Cascara Sagrada. She said that when she went to the bathroom about taking the Cascara Sagrada extract, she looked in the commode and she saw some berries that she ate 12 years prior. They were lost and they became molded and sent off that negative message. Again, the mucous membrane in the intestine were compromised. She's no longer crazy.
His wife Ma'a gave him the name Sadie, and locals began calling him doctor after they saw him heal fatal illnesses.
There was a little boy that was dying. It was his spleen, but nobody knew it was his spleen, and he lay there, and he was like 5 years old. This is Dominica again. Mm-hmm. And so he was laying there, and he could hardly walk. And the doctors had said he was going to die. And so we gave him the herbs, and he was up and around. When people are healed, everybody is Dr. Sebi, Dr. Sebi.
Because of the act that he's performing. You're helping someone to achieve wellness. And so in that act, one identifies it with a doctor. So they begin to call him
that. Dr. Sebi not only wanted to heal people of their ailments, he also wanted everyone to truly love themselves.
He brought more than just, okay, take these herbs and you're healed. You felt what you feel when you listen to Sebi, you feel good about yourself and you feel strong. And it was the healing of the nation. It is the healing of the nation because that's the other part of the healing, for us to have that self-worth, that self-confidence.
The love that's going to secure you through life is the love that you offer yourself. These are the things that we need to cultivate, not the dependency of another. Why should you be dependent on me for love? on yourself. That love that you have for you, that love would never die.
Dr. Sebi created Usha Healing Village, where hundreds of people have traveled to receive healing of their ailments. This village is located in Honduras, Central America, and is named after one of his oldest daughters.
The Usha Village was opened right after the court case. You know, my father had his court case in 1988, and then right after that, we went out there, my mother, my father, the whole family, and he founded the Usha Village, and we didn't take out loans for that. That was funded directly out of his pocket, out of the Victory's pocket. No, we're not involved in the Usha Village at all. That's something that's definitely important to clarify to people, because that's being ran by my father's ex-business partners, which reside out in Los Angeles, which operate different entities.
Dr. Sebi's work was well respected in entertainment circles, with clients including the late Lisa Lopez, John Travolta, Eddie Murphy, Michael Jackson, and Nipsey Hussle.
I take his products for sure. I'm working on doing a documentary on the trial in 1985.
How did Lisa Lopez discover Dr. Sebi?
I just could not believe that there was not a cure for it. I don't care what disease, especially AIDS. Could not believe it. And about a week later, I was in the studio talking to a producer friend of mine named Michael Anthony, and he just decided to tell me about a man that he knew had the cure, and the man was Dr. Sebi.
Lisa traveled to the Usha village in Honduras and later shared her story with MTV.
In the tiny village, Lisa sought guidance for body and soul from an herbal guru named Dr. Sebi.
Dr. Sebi, according to him, can cure anything. Everything from trying to lose weight to, looking for a cure for AIDS. People go there with hopes and dreams that Dr. Sebi can somehow save them.
She had been through so many intense problems in her career and in her life and in her personal life that she didn't know where to turn. And this doctor, she said, had shown her how to really open up and cleanse all of the negativity out of her.
She told me she was suffering with alcoholism and that she was smoking excessively, cigarettes, drinking and smoking. She asked me, what do I need to do to stay on the side of peace? I said, fast, do what Jesus did. She said, what did Jesus do? He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. At the ending of the fasting, she came to me. I heard the door opening at 2 o'clock in the morning. She said, I completed my fast this morning. I said, what did you see? I saw God. She said, I'm going to make you famous. I said, how? Because I'm going to talk about you. Does everyone know you cure AIDS and cancer?
There's just a lot of people in the world who are suffering and sick. They're not happy. They're looking for answers. They don't know where to turn. Well, I know a man who's been curing AIDS since 1987. This guy has taught me a lot, and I need to share my knowledge, with the world.
Sebi also claimed to have healed Michael Jackson.
What I did for him was this. I gave Michael an intracellular chelation. He was full of a whole lot of drugs, the opportunity drugs. Couldn't sleep. His nerve was shattered. So I began treating him. And at the ending of the period, he was doing good, and I left. I was with him from February until September. At the ending of September, I told him, I'm leaving. He said, don't leave me. I said, why? He said, I want you by my side, but I have a business.
He also said he helped Steven Seagal.
You know what it's like when Steven Seagal tells me to come to his house because he had a headache for 5 years. Well, I knew why the headache was in his head. It was removed in less than 10 minutes. He had the bottle and said, this bottle is powerful.
Many people have criticized Sebi, calling him a fraud, quack, and scam artist.
I don't think I'm the only person that wouldn't take advice,
from someone who was in a mental hospital from schizophrenia and paranoia, if we actually hear what he has to say, things become a bit wacky.
Glucose is the underlying enemy. Whenever you indulge in glucose, it would be difficult to lose fat.
Is that why nearly every cell in the body uses glucose for energy? The man is 120 pounds at 6'2", has clearly been depriving himself of both calories and nutrition, and he's literally knocking on death's door right here.
He's not a doctor. He was simply a fraudulent individual with no education who took advantage of scientifically illiterate and impressionable people. The first ridiculous claim that I will address is that germs don't exist.
This is the Supreme Court of the United States. The judge said, what did you say? I said, there is no such thing as a germ, a virus, or a bacteria. Then what is it? I said, man, it is a microbe that is generated in the body when erosion begins. If I take a very healthy human being and lay them on the stable and not move them for a month, when I raise them, what are they going to have on their back? A pencil. And inside that pencil would be some little worms, isn't it? Sure. But where did the worms come from, and where were they born? In the man himself. But why pencil? You didn't move that person. That part of him was lacking of oxygen. Now we go internal. When those cells cease to receive oxygen, they break down. If the erosion is in an nostril, it is what? Sinusitis. If it's the bronchotuberous, bronchitis.
The claim that bacteria and viruses don't exist, such an egregious example of scientific ignorance. It's even more egregious than saying the world is flat.
Sebi has ignored all criticism. He stated everyone has been taught to accept Western medicine and reject anything outside of that realm. Despite the criticism, his career continued to thrive, but he struggled to maintain his romantic relationships.
You know, my father was a Rolling Stone. Everybody kind of knows that.
He had 4 marriages, legal and bigamous. He married a woman named Melba Jean in the late 1950s, then Ma'a in the 1970s, and began his healing journey. He married Annette Thomas in the 1980s and Patsy Williams around the late 90s, early 2000s.
The official Dr. Sebi wife is Melba Jean Bowman. She's been married legally to Dr. Sebi for 56 years. That's the legal wife. That's the standing wife of Dr. Sebi.
Sebi claimed all of these marriages.
I've been married 4 times. I love women. Every woman I've been with, I love now.
Annette met. He opened his first store on the island with Ma'a. Annette attended one of his speaking engagements.
Just a burst of fresh air, you know? Wow, because he wasn't working by himself then. His partner, Olu, was there, Karen, his wife, Ma'a, they were all working together when I met him.
It was a team.
It was a team. I'll be a part of this. All of them had moved from California to St. Croix, and they was not interested in coming back to the United States. They wanted the Caribbean to be their permanent home.
Right.
Yeah, I talked him into coming back.
Dr. Sebi soon opened a Fig Tree store in New York. Annette became his 3rd wife. Many years later, Patsy traveled to the Usha village and began assisting Sebi and Ma'a. Ma'a explains why she and Dr. Sebi separated.
There was many women I couldn't take anymore. I said to Sebi, you cured all these women, you helped all these women, and they love you. Mm-hmm. And that's unfair to them because you're taking advantage of them because they would do anything for you. They love you.
Ma'a continued the healing work through the Fig Tree with her daughters and son. Dr. Sebi moved to LA and opened an office there. He married Patsy and she continued to work for him. He then had to start a new company after Patsy allegedly stole from him. His many romantic relationships allegedly produced more than 20 children.
My dad had quite a few children. You know what I mean? It's many of us, different factions.
Tell them what is good for your pressure. Tell them what people need when they weak. That's my daughter. Now look, I'm 79. 79 with a baby now. Yeah. I'll tell you what. didn't know my own son. Yeah, this is somebody help me. Yeah. I didn't know my own son. Wow. This young man knows his daddy. Understand? He grew up with me.
Critics try to use his personal life as a way to tarnish his name, but Ma'a rejects these views.
Sebi is a great healer, and all his personal life has nothing to do with it.
He has openly spoken about his shortcomings.
I was in a state of disarray, and I didn't know it. At the time, I was involved with 3 different wives, Matum, Annette, and Ma'a. My life was not as stable because I had other women pregnant. You know, a young girl, 19 years old, was pregnant. I was like emotionally out of it. So Lisa said to me that I needed help. And she was right.
There's an African proverb that says, when an old man dies, a library burns to the ground. There's much controversy surrounding the death of Dr. Sebi. He was arrested along with his associate Pablo Medina for being in the possession of $37,000 in cash in an airport on a Caribbean island off the coast of Honduras. Authorities stated he was suspected of laundering money. His friends, family, and patients vehemently denied the charges.
It's a very sad video to see. It's a very sad thing to see because you can see that he was broken. You can see that he was hurt. To give of yourself, your whole heart. I don't care about this money thing. Forget this money thing, the product and selling it on the internet. No, he gave of himself. Him.
His family attempted to get him released from custody to no avail. He was held for over a month with no court date, and bail was never set. After a month of being held in prison, he reportedly became sick with pneumonia, and his condition quickly deteriorated. He passed away shortly after. Before Dr. Sebi entered prison, he was in optimal health.
See Martin how doing things every morning like this. That's see Moss. Okay? See Moss how falling on my knees every morning to check him.
Reps from Dr. Sebi's institute stated limited information was given on the type of treatment he received. His autopsy was never released. Many people believe Dr. Sebi was murdered, while others strongly disagree.
And my grandfather wasn't killed on no governmental foul play either.